we've been studying the book of Daniel, and we've been looking at Daniel chapter 1, verse 10 to 13. We've been on 11 to 13. We've called out for a while now, and pretty much looking at what Daniel had in him in response to the challenge he had in the court in Babylon, right? They were being offered food from the table of the king, but those food did not meet up to the legal requirement for a Jew to eat. And here he was in a strange land with that challenge. We just want to learn from him how he responded. What was his decision? Can hopefully learn from that to face the issues of our life. As we study through the book of Daniel, we make a goal for ourselves to learn how to live in the last of the last days. Daniel lived in a place of authority in a strange land, in an idolatrous empire, and he was able to overcome. So we're trying to say, if Daniel overcame, we too can learn from Daniel and overcome, or even in these last days where we have a seeming repetition of such idolatry around us. So that's what we're tagging ourselves with as we learn from Daniel. And we've been learning on faith, right? And we've been looking at Jesus, learning from Jesus what faith is. So yesterday we looked at verse 27. Today we'll go on to verse 28 to 30. And Jesus Christ said, so why do you worry about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. And yet I say to you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Now, if God so clothed the grass of the field, which today is and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, will he not much more clothe you, O you of little faith? And you see that last part tells you all Jesus Christ was talking about here was about having faith. Because if you have faith, then you will do what he expects of us in what he's saying. Only those that do what is not expected are people he considers to be of little faith or no faith. The word little faith there is more like representative of someone that does not have faith, someone that is not able to stand in confidence, trusting in what God will do or not do. You know, after we shared yesterday, the word that carried on in my mind was the fact that each of us face challenge in life. I mean, this last few days, I've had to sleep a lot with my wife away from home. And somehow in the place of sleeping, you know, it's a bit of unconsciousness, right? And you're lost in some dream world and all of that. And there were some concerns, right, coming from the things I saw in my dream and some other things, you know. And I could easily have gone any direction with my thoughts. I could easily have been scared or worried, right? But what comes to mind is that word that we hear all the time that God says, say, be still. So Moses said to the people, to the Israelites, be still, be still, be still, be still, be still. Right, that's the other place we'll learn also in Elijah going to the mountain of God. Right, there was the earthquake, there was a fire, there was everything. But God was not in any of that. It was in the still small voice, the still small voice, the still small voice, the still small voice. And that's where a lot of us miss God. We're carried away by all the noise, all the earthquake, all the fire. You know, we're troubled by so many things. We're running here, skelter, thinking that that's what will save us. That's where God is. But God is not in all of that. God is in the quietness of faith, the quietness of belief, right? That is where you hear the voice of God, right? So when trouble comes against you, your best response is not to flow in that same, agitation, but to rest in God, because your power is not in yourself. Your power is not in what you can do or not do. Your power is in your God, right? And that is where you should rest, waiting to hear what he has to say. Waiting to hear what he has to say, It's not about the noise I make in his presence. What is on knowing what I want, knowing what he has said, knowing what to key into, knowing what he has done, knowing what his disposition is on the matter, and keying into it. That is what faith does.